My name is Soledad O'Brien. I am an anchor and special correspondent for CNN, which pretty much means I run around the country and the globe doing documentaries on undercovered communities and underreported stories.
Okay. So, it's unlikely that the MDGs are going to be reached in the next 5 years, but if you could just pick one of those goals, which one do you think you would pick?
We were talking about gender equality today, and the reason I think that particular goal is one of the most critical to be achieved is because it actually links to all of the goals. If you can help make women in a community stronger, if you can protect them from sexual violence, if you can educate them, if you can make sure that you are bolstering this section of any community, which is a big section and correlate obviously to the children and small children in a community, you can make change in a community. So if you're going to, if ultimately the plan is to bring change to an area, the best way to do it is through the women. If you do not have a community where the women are valued and educated, the community cannot do well. So to me, plus I feel like I have a dog in the fight as a woman who reports on a lot of women, but I think that is probably the most valuable, and I think it's also achievable because people understand. It makes sense that if you can invest in a part of the community that is a part of the community that stays. If you look at research, you'll see that often men will leave a village, men will leave a community, they go on to their wives' community, but the women stay. And they stay and they reinvest because their children are there. So they're not just reinvesting in the community, reinvesting in themselves and their offspring. So it makes perfect sense that as you educate women, as you make their lives better, they in turn raise the value in a community. And I think if you can do that, that leads to a better step and a better chance for all of the Millennium Development Goals.
Right. So what isn't being done? I mean, we've been speaking about gender equality for such a long time. What do we need to do to make it happen?
I was talking to Gina Davis today, and she was pointing out that in this country, when you look at the roles of women in media, movies, TV, and I think she specifies movies, you see a tremendous inequality. That 17% of the roles go to women. This is in children's programming, where people would guess, probably 50-50. And so you think, well, in this country where we believe, or at least we think, that boys and girls are equal, we're actually seeing a tremendous inequality when it comes to roles. So I think that what has to be done is to first assess the problem and then say, how do you fix that? When it comes to movies, for example, you can literally just change the numbers. You can increase and make more dynamic the roles for girls. That will have an impact on children who are watching these movies, as my kids do, over and over and over again, and get their own sense of self and also those around them by watching movies. I think that's a very tangible thing that can be done and can make a real, actual difference. So that would be, I think, one of the first steps.
Do you have hope that the next generation are going to do a much better job than
I always have hope. If you have hope, you have nothing. Yeah, I do. Because I think it makes sense. It shouldn't be a tough sell. The hard part is when women who are not valued in their society or valued in their home are trying to reach some kind of gender equality. You say, well, how's that going to be possible? If in their own home there's no equality, how do you possibly have that mirrored in political power outside of the home? That's a real challenge, and we don't have that issue here in the United States. So I think that there is an opportunity. I tend to look at things as as it's not a problem. It's more of an opportunity for growth. I think you have enough people focused on a problem, and with goals, they're trying to measure it. And so just by that alone, I think we can move the ball sort of down the field and make real change.